What the rock is cooking.
Oh, recording live from three locations.
This is Past the Rock.
I am Patrick, and as always, I am joined by two mean green men. We got Jacob, aka Bethke, and Caesar, aka LCs.
Mean Green, do you believe in that we're gonna have a new coach who can keep things going? I don't know.
Well, it is the week of Thanksgiving, which at Pass the Rock means it's the week of hate. We're going from the NFL rivalry week last week to college football rivalry week this week, basically.
Was it more than just? Was it everybody? I was playing.
All interdivisional stuff.
It was. You're right. You played. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, the college football week is going to be littered with a lot of hate, and we'll feel some more of that on the back half with the NFL as well. So be thankful for hate. But we are going to start in a kind of bittersweet area for the local teams here.
Mm-hmm.
Some big moves made within the last week by your Texas Rangers.
Some sneaky moves. Parting
with several members of the championship team from just 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Big ballers. I could. There's many people that would argue this is a year too late, but we understood why they did it.
Yeah. So the first big one I think is the trade, right? The trade happened first. Yeah.
No, I think this second. I think
trade
you
happened
got
second.
everyone first. Yeah.
Okay, so we got the announcement that Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim,
one of the pitchers,
Josh Boers, and someone else, Jacob Webb.
Yeah,
we're not going to be brought back. That's three members of your title team, three pretty key members there.
They were all there?
Was Webb on the?
I think Webb was. I don't think Webb played worth a shot. I think that they had already, because I think Webb and Latz were both on the team, but neither one of them were trustworthy.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
No, Jacob Webb was not with the Rangers that year.
Okay.
He was with the Angels in 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's tough, and obviously Garcia means of those guys. Spores is the guy in the highlight, of the final out.
You got the final out.
Kind of wanted him to be the Dwight Powell here, but if he wants to go play, that's fair.
And Heim had plenty of great clutch moments, but he's just not. He's not a superstar by any means.
If I'm power ranking it, he might come last.
And he's making a lot of money to play catcher, and you need a little bit more production to justify that. And the same for Garcia, who was obviously the
hero of that playoff run for the most part until he got hurt.
Him and Seager.
It was really that ALCS.
I mean,
was the Garcia moment.
Yeah, he
the Garcia coming out party.
He at least brought that team some sort of energy that it didn't.
And to go further back, he was the first sign of
personality to that team.
And to bring it back further than even some of the signings, he was the first sign of life for a very dead Rangers team for a long time.
Yeah, and much like Nelson Cruz before him, he just kind of came out of nowhere as far as, he'd been toiling around in someone else's system, not getting much done. And then all of a sudden, he's on our opening day roster one year. And not too long after that, winning the World Series.
If you had to rank the number one person of this group to bite us in the ass the hardest.
I mean,
him.
It would have to be him. Maybe I would say it would have to be one of the pitchers who could just have like a one-off crazy year. Garcia, I would be very surprised if he ever.
When I hear it like bite us in the ass, I mean like in a game,
once people stop
seeing him a few times of the year, right? Because you're going to see him again at some point.
Yeah, but we should be able to strike him out like the entire time. So
You could, but like he can also just.
No, it
destroy
was
you.
bad. I mean, the bat was really bad last
he
year.
wasn't
But,
getting.
no, it was last year. Yeah, for sure.
That's what we know, because he wasn't getting better here. And being an
He got
incredible
worse. for
being an
sure.
incredible right fielder is nice, but it's not worth the money that he's going to
That-
drop.
That
And-
drop off from 2024 to 2025, and even from 23 to 24 and 25 was a little sad.
If it had just been the 1 year, it's one thing, but then it continued, and yeah.
All dynasties have to retool a little bit, guys.
So that means, and I just wanted to make sure I got this list right. Yeah. So sorry. Before I get to that, so Garcia, obviously the emotional leader, the fan favorite, but another one of the absolute most pivotal, integral pieces of that championship team was traded on the same day. Marcus Semien is now a New York Met.
Talk about getting worse the
And-
more time they spent here.
And he's claiming that he's ready to bring his MVP caliber bat back to the equation.
It could happen. You just never know. It could happen. Just like with Adolis Garcia, it could happen somewhere else.
This late into his career?
I'm not thinking he's going to be hitting 30 home runs or anything, but I think he could probably at least get back to hitting closer to 300.
I wish we got the Simeon that was on HGH, because that 45 home run season's looking real suspicious now.
He's just older. Reaction time's going to go down.
Yeah, but he didn't have that kind of juice before that either.
Baseball's interesting, but he's no longer on the team. The last, or the first kind of him and Seager were what started the whole rebuild, signing them to $500 million combined back when we were a miserable team.
Miserable.
So it is sad to lose a Gold Glover, a leader.
A guy that's probably going to have his number retired here at some point. I would guess maybe a little bit longer away.
Yeah. Worst case, at least in the Rangers Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you're right. At least in the Hall, they are a little stingier with that here.
It's tough. I mean, we've also never had people who have won a World Series before to put in. So
That's true. Adolis definitely getting it. I think that one's easy.
yeah, unless there's some kind of strained relationship there that I don't know about, then yeah.
I doubt it, because honestly, I think the reality is they're doing him a favor as much as anything, right? Like letting him actually play a little baseball. Then
Go see what you're worth on the market and have a chance to play, because you're probably not going to play every day here at this point. Because
we know they don't. Yeah, it seems like they like this guy they just brought, Finding Nemo.
They traded Marcus Semien for Brandon Nimmo. I don't know. It's probably Nimmo. It's 2 M's.
Nemo, yeah.
He's been with the Mets for about a decade now. Pretty good player. Not.
Seems like he's just gonna be the guy that actually literally replaces Marcus offensively, which isn't necessarily to say that he's going to be a powerhouse, but that he just needs to hit the ball consistently well.
Right. Yeah. And not the Marcus that we saw this last season. But he makes significantly less money than Marcus Semien, which is.
Are we
really,
eating any of that contract, or is that all going to the Mets now?
no, they sent us him and cash considerations.
Yeah, we got paid for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Mets are really poorly run.
There's a lot of business reasons to do a lot of things, but
I guess, man. But you're trading for somebody who's older, coming off one of their worst seasons.
well, you do have to spend a certain amount of money also. Not that much probably, but it's also a good idea if you're trying to build some culture to have a stadium like that.
I think it's fair to say that the Mets are looking at Marcus to be a leader in a clubhouse that probably doesn't have a lot of it, especially because
again, still an incredible second baseman.
And I don't want to get excited, but you know what I mean? The Mets might be losing a player. You know what I mean? We might have some salary opening up all of a sudden. But I'll let you continue.
Yeah, what that means for the Rangers at this point is we have now, I think, seven players left from the championship roster. Corey Seager, Nate Eovaldi, Evan Carter, Josh Young, Cody Bradford, Josh Smith, and Ezekiel Duran.
Duran, long live them. I am interested to see if Josh makes it through next season, but I'm glad that we're giving it one more go. I feel like that's our due diligence.
Yeah, and I mean, same with Evan Carter. It's just
there's no choice. Yeah,
do at this point. Yeah,
did you see there was a tweet that was someone was like the Rangers think they've locked in their outfield of the future with and I was with this trade, and I was like, look, man, I'm excited for this guy. We'll see what he could do. Obviously, I love Langford. You're stretching that thing a mile talking about Evan Carter for the future. Yes, I'm hoping for that. You're right. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm hoping he's there in March, April, and May.
I think this opens up a path for Walcott to get called up soon.
If he stays.
September. He'll be up in September at the earliest. He hasn't even gotten to AA yet, I don't think, or he's in AA right now, but
yeah, he's gotten to the first go already.
Josh Smith is going to play second base.
Potentially.
There's no one else.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, we did free up plenty of money. So when they said they weren't going to increase payroll, that didn't mean they weren't going to get anyone. And I think we mentioned that. It just meant they were going to have to move some stuff around to bring someone new in. Moving Marcus and letting Adelise and Jonah go kind of does that for you. Quite a bit of money tied up with those guys.
You get one guy. You get one toy at the store, maybe. If you go big toy.
And I don't know that there's one big. I think you'll get a couple of what you might not be as excited about, but are really good players.
Well, I'm going to be really ridiculous here, but you're right.
But I mean, there's options. Some guys might be willing to take less than the market value if you're also showing you're bringing in this other guy and this other guy. It's a whole game to play.
Don't forget the propaganda we got here too, right? So this Nimmo guy waives a trade clause because DeGrom tells him that the Rangers are trying to win titles. So that was kind of cool. It's pure propaganda.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'll take it. He did have to waive his no trade clause, which isn't nothing.
Yeah.
But that said, that'll be it for baseball. The Stoves.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
What did I mean?
No. Oh, we're having fun here. Who is Jonah Bride? Should I care?
I saw that name today, but I don't know anything about.
It seems like he's just a guy that we're taking a flyer on because he used to play for our current manager. Bullpen is going to get a revamp. That's something you should note. I think everyone probably knew that was going to happen, but just in case you didn't. But the most important news that has been multiple sources at this point, the Rangers are hot after a catcher, obviously, or prioritizing catching. There's rumors of trades for guys like Joey Bart, Ryan Jeffers. I don't know if you've ever heard of those guys. I obviously haven't. You got names like Blake Mitchell, Carter Jensen, Kyle Teal, Edgar Guerrero, probably. So those are interesting rumors that we're hearing about. Just who knows the relevancy? Obviously, they're going to have to get another catcher, even though they like Kyle. Just interested there. And then if you're looking at the free agents, well, what do you have? Do you care about?
I was just going to say a lot of this is where winter meetings are about to start, and then
we already got a couple today.
We'll see some real traction. Yeah. There was one pretty big name off the market today.
Yeah, no one we were worried about.
For catchers, I'm seeing one name on MLB.com.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, if we do the free agency route, it's basically JT Realmuto or nothing.
Which, it's possible, but who knows? And who knows what they have in the system? I haven't seen anybody, but they could have someone they like.
There's nobody in the system that's a catcher that's even remotely close to coming up anytime soon.
How do you feel about Big Bucks, Pete Alonso, DH, Jake Whataburger?
Yeah, I mean, you could try it.
Sexy? Is it too bloated? What do you think?
I don't know. I haven't really I haven't kept up with what Pete Alonso's actually been doing production-wise to know if he's worth putting any money into. And I don't know that we're just one bat away. So for me, I feel like it's a bad idea just to blow a load on one guy for a year. But
what about What about moving Corey over potentially, or moving this guy over and having Bo Bichette? I better pronounce his name right. He's gonna actually play for us potentially.
Yeah, if you can pull one off, if you can pull off bringing him in to play second base or something, sure. If you can convince him.
What about this Japanese pitcher who's talking shit to the Dodgers?
I'm down for that.
I think that one's going to come down to New York or Toronto, but we'll see.
I think Baltimore's also supposed to be in on him big. And then finally,
they won't be able to put up the package.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, Toronto. I respect to Toronto for coming back in this thing.
We're talking about Munitaka Murakami, right? Is that the one?
No,
Oh no, wait, that's a
Kiami.
position. Sorry, that's a position player from Japan.
I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Tatsuya.
Oh, Tatsuya.
Tatsuya
Imai.
Tatsuya.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that's the final one, and I don't know that this is actually necessary in any way, shape, or form. But obviously, like someone actually said this, like someone on MLB.com. So then I was like, well, now I got to do it. Should we sign Ranger Suarez?
Just for the meme.
Both. I mean, he's decent, and his name is Ranger. I'm kind of down.
Yeah, there's not a lot that could hurt.
And if he's mid, it'll be like Jake Berger, where at least I'm so excited by the meme of him.
Yeah, there's a good chance they bring someone in at a high dollar that you're slightly disappointed in, but I think overall the team just can't be as bad offensively next year as they were last year, so it's going to feel better no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some interesting names. No one I'm just like, oh hell yeah, let's go do this right now about. There's no franchise altering guys out there that I know of.
No, probably not, but we'll see. I mean, I was going through MajorLeagueBaseball.com, but all it did was prove that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about or looking at.
It's going to give you a lot of names. Then, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for baseball.
Yeah.
I meant to actually save this as a picture, so I'm going to vamp here. We did get an announcement in video form from the Dallas Stars concerning this year's third jersey, which is kind of a rework on the, what do you call it? That reverse retro that they were wearing, that was like silver. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Throw it up on the screen, you want. I don't know what you're talking about.
So here's the new one.
I'm not even going to pretend like I am aware of the Stars.
Don't even worry. They had they tried sort of attempted this, but didn't do it great. Where's the overlays? There they are. Add files. But this is what we're getting this year. I think they did a great job of combining the new colors.
Oh, okay.
Look.
Nice.
It's tough to see on this. You can't really zoom in here, but in the neck line it says 3OT 1999, obviously referencing the triple overtime cup winning game. But I like these. They were wearing this weird one that was like some like silver and black that I didn't like before that. They were calling the reverse retro. So I'm a fan of these.
This is good. This is
I might buy one of these maybe.
No, I mean, fuck might. I like this one a lot. I mean, is there a way we can maybe, I think as fans, we should probably buy a lot of these because I kind of think these are more fire than what we usually wear.
Yeah, I definitely think these are better than looking, basically just because our new logo isn't anywhere on here that I can see. So,
but I mean, I bet I really like the. Yeah, you're right though. The whole new logo. They spend too much money on that fucking logo for them not to use it.
Not a great logo.
Yeah, I would love for them to utilize this. Use the modern colors. I don't really like the old Stars colors. They're fine. I don't love them as much as I love what we do now with the color scheme. And you're right. We have a very, very. What is the minor league hockey called?
We have like a Madden created team logo from like PlayStation era where you got there's one for each letter.
Yeah.
We got the D.
It's not great. It's really not ideal. I would love love for them to focus on this. Mesh the two together. Beautiful.
Yeah, and they did a cool video. They had Brett Hull, who scored the game-winning goal back in '99, doing the read over, and they even trolled the Sabres by having him standing on the ice with one foot in the crease. That's a whole thing. If you know, you know. It'd be tough for me to explain.
Yeah.
Obscure '90s NHL rules that come with league-wide memos that fans don't know about.
Well, that kind of explains a lot of it, though. I mean, we've seen that in other sports. I don't know if I guess it would be like the tuck rule if Tom Brady was fucking with somebody on the tuck rule.
Sort of. Well, yeah, kind of. Except in this case, it was actually called correct, but people just didn't know that was the case because they didn't know that the league had clarified the rule throughout the season. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our hockey news. Stars still rolling on pretty strong. They beat the Oilers 8-3 last night. They're looking pretty good. I don't know.
Another year of regular season good is fine, but that means I have two questions. How's the power play?
Best in the league. Last I checked, it might be top 3 in the league right now.
Oh, that's
Nice.
That's tantalizing. And then 2 is a question that we can't answer for a few months. So
Yeah. And it's tough, obviously they've been in the conference finals so many years in a row that the bar's just impossibly high, but we'll see. It's at least
you're
different
skating.
experience having the new coaching staff. So
I don't know how antsy it is in hockey, but we've seen it in other sports. You're skating the line of blow it up potentially if you don't get it done. And a lot of other leagues, at least. I don't know.
It's a tough one to blow up the way it's built. So it's more just it's going to be a retool of some sort.
The classic soft rebuild.
And they did, Jim Nill built it very well. You have older guys, but then you have younger guys who are also important, and they're pushing their time in, and then someone else will come in, and yeah, it's built very well. Very well.
How do you go?
With that, we'll get to what everybody really came for.
The WNBA?
Oh, God damn it. Yes, obviously that's what I meant. What everybody came for. What NBA?
I feel like it was important I catch you before you hit the button. This one's quick, though.
Yeah, go.
There were some topics that we can get to. I'm excited for the news coming out of Phoenix, and I hope Pablo Torre and Baxter Holmes are all over it.
What you got?
Because we will be on that as well. There's some. Once again, all eyes are on the Phoenix Suns organization. Is who could run a sports league worse? Over multiple ownerships now, but we will get into the meat and potatoes of that later on. Like I said, it's just something to put on your radar. Matt Eshbia might be not long for the ownership of the Phoenix Suns.
It was like something like he was using team funds for his own money is the allegation.
It's allegations, and I'm going to let people way more intrusive than I get into it first. So, yes, the allegations and the lawsuits he's facing are quite interesting and very serious, I would say. Although, do they have merit? That's a different question. I don't know. WNBA lottery. We do know how that went down. The Dallas Wings, for the second year in a row, will have the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yay!
Yeah, I think this is yay. I think that they were never going to be able to if the ghost of Stern still weighs heavy on the NBA, there's no doubt in my mind that it still weighs heavily on the WNBA. What kind of case in point in that is we've made a lot of jokes about the NBA lottery. The Mavericks got very lucky with Cooper Flagg. Let's put it that way. Pelicans got very lucky with Zion Williamson after the Anthony Davis trade. We've seen a lot of interest
with Anthony Davis.
Anthony back into this equation again. So if you lead yourself into that pipeline, you begin to understand why the Dallas Wings have been awful as a franchise. Like, even in their best years, they have been a very poor excuse for a basketball team. And I'm not just talking about the team. I'm not talking about the ladies suiting up. I'm talking about the whole damn organization has been awful. They went through a whole process. They brought in Kurt Miller to be the basketball czar. First coach comes in, gets fired after a year. That's fine. We're not super worried about it. We'll see what the next one's got. Paige Beckers. Boom. Here you go, Dallas. We give you what you need. Boom. Now we give you Azzy Fudd, most likely, to go with her next year. Her running mate at UConn and one of her best friends. This is a great stimulus package for what is clearly, even with the expansion teams coming in, probably still going to be your worst franchise. Like the effort that the Dallas ownership has put into their basketball team is embarrassing. And we're hoping it's all trending in the right direction. Of course, they've got to deal with the city for a new arena. That's awesome. Everyone's excited. Future looks bright. This is the icing on the cake. This is more or less the WNBA looking at them and being like, here you go. Here's your fuck this up. You fuck this up. But this is what you get. Because now we've got to start serving all these other franchises. Now the Sparks or the Valkyries are going to land Juju next year. You know what I mean? Like we're going to do this very strategically because this is still fledgling league. This, of course, unless there's a lockout and the WNBA ceases to exist forever, which is not a zero possibility. But let's pretend like that negative situation isn't going to happen. Wings got first. The Lynx got the second pick. Remember, the Lynx were basically the best team of basketball all of last year. The injuries really disrupted their season at the very end. They went out in a bang. Literally, they are the reason for the lockout at this point. Their best player, Defisa Collier, comes out and has that statement against the league, and here we are. Seattle Storm also pretty good last year. They have the third pick. Mystics have 2 picks in the top 10. The Tempo and the Fire, the 2 new teams, it's Portland and Toronto. They're going to flip a coin for 6 and 7.
They don't have a plan for that already. It's literally just a coin flip.
I believe so, yeah. I believe that's what happened. No, they just slotted the Valkyries in because they were by themselves. So, yeah, like I said, Azzy Fudd, I believe, is
your entire franchise, the start just being based on this coin flip.
And happening and them doing this at the same time that, like, that, like, we just saw the college football commissioner do it on fucking TV. That they're gonna sit there, and once they do it, they're gonna do it, dude. They're gonna fucking do it. They're gonna do it. Olivia Miles, she's a possibility. She plays at TCU. Lauren Bett, Awa Pham, and Floje Johnson. I only know Floje that well. Remember, she's very successful at LSU with Angel Reese a few years ago. She's also been notable for her rapping ability. She's actually good. She's not. I mean, most basketball players record hip hop. She's actually good at it, so that's notable. And a great player.
9/11 bar when she was at.
Yes, correct. That is exactly She did have the 9/11 bar. She's probably too much like Paige, even if she has the best season in the world for her to play and be drafted by the Wings. Like I said, I think Azzy Fudd is pretty much a long shot to not. It would be a long shot to not have her selected here. Maybe one of the other girls just shows to be that much better, but it definitely feels like that's how it goes. And no, I wouldn't necessarily call Azzy Fudd the most number 1 overall pick of all time. And I think maybe there's some poo-pooing there because we're going off of basically Caitlin to Paige to Juju here in a year, another year. So I get where that kind of comes in, but she's going to be very good. And I think for the Wings, this could be a very, very, very promising future to have those 2 young guards paired together, build it out from there. Now you can hit the button.
Oh shit!
I can hit the button.
What if I?
This is Past the Rock.
I'm a man.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, so deliberate. Okay,
Yeah, that was
the guy tugging on his shirt. I was like, wait, what is this motion? Real quick.
You don't know that's Brian Kelly's son on senior night, which Brian Kelly did not attend, and he I cut the audio, which probably spoils it, but I'll just put it there. There's a lot of Chet Holmgren going on, and he's like, free BK, free BK. And so that I felt like just putting it on that really dark, sad filter and then just leaving it in the video quietly was better. That also reminds me of another video I need to make sure that we have here for funsies. Didn't want to lose the audio on this one, but we'll get to that in a second when we get to the week to come. We got to start off with a lot of head coaching news. The first two, all right, interesting. The third one, still all right, interesting for most of the country, but for us, it's a little closer to home. So we're going to start with Cal Bears. Justin Wilcox fired by Ron Rivera after getting blown out by a bad Stanford team. I think that was in Stanford, though. Either way. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. Cal's a good team. Ron Rivera is an interesting name to have running your department. They have put effort into having Cal be good. Cal has gotten off to really good starts, hasn't really done anything with it. Not too surprising, but this is mostly important because they might have the top transfer quarterback. Even if you think about Mestamaker in this thing, which I don't necessarily, because obviously if he leaves, we probably know where he's going. But their quarterback would be more or less the number one guy. But it's uncertain whether he's going to leave or not. I think he's initially saying that he's going to stay, but of course we know how that goes. Jim Mora is Colorado State's new head coach. You heard that right, Jim Mora. Jim Mora Jr., not senior. I believe senior is at this point.
I was about to ask, because he wasn't like 108.
Senior's got to be up there. He might still be with us, but he's definitely not in coaching time. Jim Mora Jr., if you guys have
90 years old. Not as old as I thought, if I'm being honest.
It's still pretty old. Jim Mora Jr. had been at UConn for a bit here, rebuilding a UConn football program basically out of the dirt because they had just come up to a division, and it hadn't been perfect there for UConn. They're doing good. They've got a lot of people there. He gets his bump up to Colorado State. Caesar, you asked the question, Colorado State, what is this? Well, Jim Mora is probably not the most inspiring coach for a lot of the bigger programs to hire at this point, so they're probably not going to just jump off to do it. Colorado State, very smartly, realizes that they're going to the Pac-12, so that's going to be a little bit bigger than the current Mountain West in which they reside. They're going to have a little bit more juice. Who knows how big and who's going to be a part of the Pac-12 as it goes. So this could be a really good conference down the road, especially what if the Big Ten realizes their failure and all of a sudden USC and Cal come running back, and maybe or USC and UCLA come running back, or the ACC thing goes bad and Cal and Stanford come back. Either one could easily happen. So Jim Mora being Colorado State, I do find to be a very interesting one. I think it's a good hire for them, and he was the last successful UCLA coach, so we'll see. But the one that hits the closest to home, Eric Morris officially leaves the mighty Mean Green. I have basically been calling this shot since we realized how good the Mean Green were this season. There was no way of retaining him. There's so many jobs open, so many that he fits well. His resume is incredible. What UNT has continued to do this season is incredible. So there's just really no world in which Eric Morris stayed. The way it happened, I thought was interesting. Rumors started to come down pretty heavily that the organization, that the UNT, that the AD, that the staff, everybody was coming together to try to put a full court press to save Eric Morris at UNT. This was probably our first real sign since that had come right after the jet tracker got him. Remember, the jet tracker is not always right, but sometimes it is. And in this case, it probably was right that he took a trip over to Stillwater and got this thing done. He doesn't rock the Mean Green gear for the first time in his entire coaching career at the press conference in the morning before we find out, because what do you mean? I'm just talking about Temple. We're just here to talk about Temple. And people started looking at that and like, that's a little weird. And then reports leak out moments before a team meeting in which he's going to obviously address the elephant in the room. But most importantly, Eric Morris has decided with UNT, with Oklahoma State, that he will continue to coach this team for the remainder of the season. And before we get into the UNT of this, I think that's a very interesting thing, because this was the question that really surrounds Lane Kiffin as much as it surrounds the entire college football world. How do you leave when your team actually has a chance at a playoff, which UNT's might be a little small, might be whatever. We'll get to that. But you have a chance at that. At the worst, you still have a championship game and a potential bowl game. Now, they'll punt on the bowl game if it's nothing, and I don't really care about bowl games. If it's not one of the playoff games, then I get it. For me as a UNT fan, I still do want us to win a bowl game. I still would like us to come away with that. Like, that really means something.
It's incredibly disappointing if the season ended with a bowl loss.
Yeah, yes. and so but it's tough, because if he leaves, then Mestamaker and Hawkins almost certainly gone. He's an Oklahoma kid. So you really are going to be hemorrhaging a lot of kids in this move. And I think that's fair to say. We'll get $2.3 million back from Oklahoma State, which is fine. It's, that isn't nothing for this program. It's going to pay the next coach for at least a year, probably. All the reports are that basically surrounding either coordinators or G.J. Kinney at Texas State, which I think is good news for North Texas fans. I'm fine with Billy Napier. I'm fine with Retread Factory UNT, but I do think it might be more successful to be good at finding good coordinators that can take over the program as it is in the image of Eric Morris. I think you probably have to stay as an offensive team. You probably have to have an identity here for UNT to continue this success. But it's also important to note that UNT's success right now for the next coach, stay at 6 wins or more every year. It's doable. We have the ability with what we have. You're not going to do it every year, but stay bowl eligible. That is where we need to be.
I don't know how it's structured in college, but we got this 24-year-old GM. Is this his job in college to find the coach?
I don't think it is.
No, he would not be involved in that necessarily. I mean, they
might take his opinion into consideration.
It's also possible that he could leave. Again, what's good for UNT is that the American Conference is good, and that it sort of has really found its niche in where it exists in the whole ecosystem of college football. The money isn't great, but it's getting there and it's getting better, it seems. But most importantly, we're on back-to-back athletic directors who are actually very, very invested in football, along with the school continuously showing that. So everything is here for UNT to continue to be at least a bowl-eligible school, which can help us in a lot of different ways. You need to get the sidewalk alumni. We need to start building out after that. But at this point, this is a very good start. And I personally am thankful for Eric Morris. And I am too plugged into college football to ever think he was going to stay. So that's my
So let me get into this, because I like how you put that there at the end. You're plugged into college football. You knew exactly what was going to happen. Here's the thing. Since the news is broken that Eric Morris, not only is he going to Oklahoma State, but he's staying on, right? My Twitter feed has been getting flooded with these accounts that, let's be real, just based on these accounts, they're probably new to the Mean Green football landscape, right? They've probably been cheering, but they're in this little bubble, not understanding just the place that UNT holds in the ecosystem of college football. All right. So let me just get straight to it. For those who are upset, rightfully so, your coach got poached. He was always going to get poached. I want you to remember that. Now I get it. You see Oklahoma State. They are a tire fire in the Big 12. Absolutely disgusting, right? You could even say right now, right? Like it's if somebody
honestly, the thing with I would say to Oklahoma State is congratulations. He's a great coach. He's going to be successful. In 3 years, you're probably going to be doing this again.
Yes. Now here is the thing though, for UNT fans, what you're thinking? What appeals to Eric Morris in regards to Oklahoma State? One, there is more of a foundation for investing into the football program. That is absolutely cannot be denied. All right. Even with the passing of T. Boone Pickens, they still have an alumni base that is going to support the program financially and show up to the games. Sure, this season maybe not so much.
They did a good job though. They actually did good. They did a good job as a fan base of just sort of celebrating this season as it was, and I'm guessing probably now feel a little bit more rewarded as a result because they did slam dunk hire this again. I do think that they need to realize where they are in the ecosystem of things, and that the SEC or the Big Ten can always come a calling.
Of course.
This was a great hire.
But this is more for UNT fans, especially the ones who have become more and more, diehard and really plugged in, really passionate. They need to understand something here, right? Oklahoma State, if you ever become even like a fraction of what Oklahoma State has been in their history of college football, you should be very happy, right? You're not there yet. You do,
and it's a similar story, by the way. Actually, Oklahoma State, if people did want to get into the history, that's exactly who UNT would be trying to model themselves after.
Exactly. But looking at what UNT has, right? Nice stadium, not big, not huge, but it's still nice. It works for your campus. It works for the amount of people that would even consider going to the game. You need to remember a couple of things, UNT fans, Mean Green fans. Listen, you struggle to pack that stadium. It's just been a thing historically. Even in the old days, they weren't filling that thing out. Even with like the Patrick Cobb days when they were going to the New Orleans Bowl 3 out of 4 years or whatever that was.
And that does matter more than people might realize with these conference talks. Like obviously we're not heading to the SEC, so it's not as big a deal as for some schools. But yes, this is a bigger factor than you might consider.
Yeah. So you need to consider that, right? And a lot of these guys will be like, well, how could he ever hope to establish this culture of people coming to the games if we keep losing these coaches and these players? And it's like, hey, guess what? Other schools have figured it out. Why? Because they are investing into the program with what resources they have. UNT is finally getting to that point. So calm down. All right.
And Eric Morris has also just shown you that it's possible to do. So now their excuse is less valid than it ever has been.
Yeah. So now you guys need to calm down. I understand the pessimism. I do. Like I said, I went to UNT for 5 years, only missed one game my entire time. I've been to more UNT games than most UNT fans will ever go to. Because let's be real, it wasn't a great product at the time. And even now, it can be up and down, except for this season, right? This season's been spectacular.
Well, you get into the program, the history. There's a lot of things about other schools that are just kind of stupid if you think about them. But when you pull it all together, like if it's Texas, you have Big Bertha, you have Bevo, you have all these different, you have the Cannon, you have all these different things that really make it an atmosphere. And we just don't have much of that at all. We have those things, but people don't give a shit.
Yeah, and a lot of that also falls on the feet of the university because they didn't really give a shit, right? So here is the thing, UNT Mean Green fans. Okay, be thankful that you got to experience this season. This is not something that's going to be frequent. Hell, this may not happen again for another 20, 30 years where you're like, this is an elite team that is a legitimate top 25 team. Let's just be real, okay? Is UNT located in a recruiting hotbed? Yes, absolutely. Will they have
as long as you understand what you are in that hotbed?
Yeah, and you need to understand you're always going to be a stepping stone program until something happens where you've given yourself this undeniable aspect of like we have the resources now, we have the culture in place. That will take a very long time because this doesn't happen overnight for these SEC schools or these other group, Power 5 schools that have this tradition. it takes time, and it'll take a lot of time. All right, stay invested. Understand, yes, you're going to struggle to fill out that stadium on a consistent basis. Keep at it. Keep the love of the program going. Don't disparage the guys like Eric Morris coming in, bringing you back from the dead into the stratosphere, and be like, why are you leaving us for Oklahoma State? Listen, Oklahoma State, again, I already said this. They have resources that we don't. That's okay. You just need to understand that Oklahoma State will be, they're going to be poached as well. Because this is not the Oklahoma State from 2009 that went, that hit number 2 overall in the country and was able to compete with the big boys. Those days are long gone now in the era of NIL. Just understand where you are, be at peace with it, and hope that the university has now seen what they can be, what they can do, and will consistently try, because that's what you want. You want them to try to identify these coaching talents early, bring them into your program, see what they can do with not just the NIL, but with the local recruiting hotbed that we're in, and make this a program that is respected in the conference, is constantly a power in the conference, and maybe, just maybe, one day the Big 12 looked at you and hopefully the Big 12 hasn't dissolved by this point, because if they have, then we're much bigger problems in college football. But if they're still around, they identify you and you're like, join our conference. You're invested. You've been building some pretty good stuff down there. We want to see what you can do up here with the big boys. And then guess what? You're now an even more desirable program. It's going to take time. Be patient and enjoy the ride. All right? Because if there's one thing that you need to do is be aware of what your program really is. You can always hope for better, but also understand this is where you are. This is the reality of the situation. And hey, listen, just love this football program. Love the football program. Love the people that come in through the door and make it worth watching. Because there hasn't been this many positive seasons. So just consider yourself lucky that you were around for this, because we weren't around for the highs of Fry, Coach Fry, Mean Joe Green, Hayden Fry, Mean Joe Green. We weren't there for that. We weren't there for the previous peak of the program. We are here now. Huh?
No.
It's Hayden Fry?
No,
the guy
it's Hayden Fry. I was Charlie Fry was a fat guy who coached
Notre Dame and Patriots.
Was that Charlie? No, it's Charlie Weiss.
Charlie Weiss.
Charlie Fry was a quarterback. Charlie Fry was a quarterback.
Charlie Fry was a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And also, for those who are not familiar with GJ Keen, he's done some good stuff.
I think it's Kenny.
He's done some good stuff.
Former Tulsa quarterback has now been at Texas State for a bit.
And guess what? Guess who he succeeded at Incarnate World? That's right, Eric Morris.
Well, that's good. I mean, look, I would be happy to have him. We'll see. We'll see what they end up doing with it. But it is important.
He's a former Philadelphia Eagle.
It's important for people to understand as well. Passion's fine. And Caesar, you're right. The fans will be one thing, but you have to understand the crazier the fans, the more money they bring in.
For sure.
Never forget the SEC exists. This is basically the entire phenomena of the SEC. So, yeah, you're right. You got to take your pill a little bit here if you're a UNC fan, but there's a lot of positives. So we will see what the hire is. I mean, they're going to be probably lower on the end of dominoes, but we'll see. There's a lot of dominoes to fall.
Do you believe in the mean green?
I also believe that this helps really kind of prove that Lane Kiffin is not just leaving Ole Miss, but is very likely headed to Baton Rouge. I don't know. It just feels like a lot of the way that Eric did this was very public facing, even if you don't agree with it. It was very public facing, and I think Lane is doing basically the same thing, just beyond the curtain right now. And it's different. It's different for UNT and Ole Miss. And we just kind of talked about that. So I understand that, but I do think that almost makes me think that's what's happening for Lane. And we'll see. Lane's the biggest domino. Once Lane falls, and I guess we'll find that out allegedly Saturday morning, we'll see.
No, and back to that too, because I've seen a lot of people upset about how Eric Moore just handled this. I'm like, listen, this was going to break either way. You were going to find out. This was always going to happen during the season because these college programs, they move fast, right? They move fast. They need to get recruits in. They need to get the program basically up and running. It waits for nobody. Just be fortunate that Eric Morris decided he wants to stick around and see if this program can get into the playoff. And hey, if you manage to even get a playoff game, not just appearance, but say you get an upset because anything can happen in college football, consider yourself even more fortunate that he stuck around.
Yeah, I think there is fair criticism here of the system. And I don't love it either. I think there could be a much better way for us to handle all of this silliness for everyone involved. I also am a little pessimistic because I currently think the only thing the college football powers that be care about is expanding the playoffs unnecessarily. So unfortunately, shit talks and money walks, and it's just not as big of a priority for the powers that be to make this a less crazy environment. But yes, I do hope that in the future there is a window in which we can sort of just push back signing day, and then we can have a set timeline for coaches to interview after the season and then quickly move into their new gigs so that they can start recruiting. I do think there's a better way to do it. So we will get to that way eventually, but it ain't here today.
Agreed.
Getting into the week that was, not a lot here. It was cupcake week for the SEC. Not for everybody, but for the vast majority. It was not a great one. The Sooners beat Mizzou 17-6. Good for them. That is a good win. Another very good win for the Sooner program. Offense is very offensive, but their defense is pretty good. So they're still looking like a playoff team at this juncture. We'll see how that goes. Texas beat Arkansas pretty handedly. Arch had a fun day. Got to play in the Hogs' face a little bit. Had a catching touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown in this one. 52-37, not exactly the final you want, but they got it.
Well, in the first half wasn't exactly the most fun thing in the world, but they opened it up in the second.
Michael Taft got basically put into the ground on a hit. And I was just like, I keep saying that this kid's not an NFL player, and I just keep getting more and more tape evidence of this guy's hell of a college player. He's busted his balls, but there's a whole nother layer to talent out there. As we go into the final week, the Aggies, the Tide, the Bulldogs, and the Rebels are the only ones that can qualify for the SEC championship game. We will see. Probably still is going to be A&M versus Bama, but we will see how it actually comes down.
I don't know. The Aggies are going to have to play without their mascot on the field on Friday. So
the mascot thing is funny because I am not usually one to side with the Ags, but this one does look like it's a little more pissiness on Texas than it is fair shake. So Texas had not played in College Station since all the renovations. Bevo doesn't fit on the field anymore. Yeah. Most of the shit that A&M had doesn't fit on the field anymore.
Classic college football. I don't know if this is a CDC decision, but when he first came in, he started doing stuff he was doing to TCU, like putting the opposing band in like the other 300s on the wrong corner and stuff. I'm for it.
No, I mean, look, if you're gonna represent the Texas boosters, especially, you have to understand that you're going to be the unpopular face of pissiness a lot. Okay, that's just part of the brand.
Love the idea that they're just some like 19-year-old college wide receiver who really cares that there's not a small dog on that field right now.
No, it's a weird one. It's just pissiness, and it's fun to move on from, think about. But that one is a good one. Trust me, we've got more for that one in a second. But even if Texas wins that game, you're still looking at a fairly tough odds of getting into the actual game. It would I think rely more on what Oklahoma does in the final week, and they play an LSU team that's yeah. So
Well, I don't
we'll
know.
see.
LSU's auditioning for Lane Kiffin, so
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And then for A&M, at this point, yeah, I know technically there's a way for Texas to beat them and then them to get out of the SEC championship game, but I don't know if that one's even going to happen. I think it would be Georgia wins and Ole Miss wins or something like that. Either way, look, I want the Aggies to make it. Even if they I want them to take an L and make it. Aggies have not played the toughest of the SEC. They just haven't. They will do so in that game, and then we will find out truly what they are made of. If Texas beats them, I don't necessarily put that against them. It's a big rivalry game. Texas is very, very inconsistent. They're very talented, but they're very inconsistent. So they could easily win that game, especially if it means less to the Ags. I'm more interested in the Ags.
it just means more.
Yeah, it just means more here. In a place there, I guess it just means slightly less if you follow the Big Ten. You have a funny week, not necessarily an impactful one. There was one major game. Oregon versus USC happened, 42-27. The Ducks beat the Trojans pretty handily, more towards the second half of that game than the first. Couple of bad things here from the Trojans. You had an assistant coach shit talking and trying to hype up the shit at the beginning of the game in Autzen. Didn't feel like that was very self-aware, only because what does USC need to compete in the Big Ten? Well, they need to be able to have push, right? They need to show that they're not a light in the loafers offensive-only football team. And they just didn't. They got no push against Oregon. And if you don't push against Oregon, Oregon's going to run all over you, and they're going to score 42 a game. That is a secret. If you have great line play, you're going to beat Oregon. If you don't have great line play, you're going to lose to Oregon. This has been a factor for multiple Oregon coaches now. This is just who they are as a program. Wisconsin upset the Illini and put to bed a fairly overrated Illini team and then gave them a little hope moving into the next year. Penn State beats the brakes off of Nebraska, which I thought was funny because obviously there's been a lot of rumors that the Nebraska head coach is going to be their head coach soon. So that was a fun one, but otherwise not too impactful. Still on trajectory for Ohio State and Indiana to meet each other in the Big Ten championship game. Of course, Michigan gets to handle that on the field this week against Ohio State. And then the Ducks still have an outside chance, but they kind of need a couple of things to go right themselves since they lost to both of the top two. The ACC got even dumber this week. I know Caesar's shocked by that, but it did. We went from the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets basically walking into the ACC championship game to now SMU versus Virginia. So yeah, Pitt beat the shit out of Georgia Tech 42-28. And then SMU beat the shit out of Louisville 38-6. So yeah, that's actually factual. The Virginia Cavs and the SMU Mustangs are currently slated to play in the ACC game. That is very technical since there's a lot of games that need to be played to make this actually legit.
Yeah.
So you have Virginia, SMU currently slated with the win and you're in situation. You have Pitt, Duke, Miami, and then Georgia Tech still hanging in by a thread, sitting there with all possible ways to get into the dance or to get into the ACC championship game, which at this juncture looks like the only way any of these teams are going to make it into the college football playoff. Then the Big 12 got just boring again. Cincinnati formally eliminated by BYU 26-14. The Utes almost fucked up big time against Kansas State, but they win 51-47. And then TCU puts the Houston Cougars to bed 17-14. Texas Tech obviously will be representing half of the in the Big 12 game. BYU highly likely to be their opponent. Arizona State and Utah still there with opportunities to attend that game. bringing it to where we live and where we play. UNT went down 14-0 early against Rice, had us feeling quite worried. Don't worry. I think it was like 42 unanswered after that. Eventually becomes a 56-24 game. So good. Obviously, the UNT news since that has been a bit less good, but not unexpected. Yeah. So,
and I want to say this about that game in particular. Drew Messmaker made one particular deep throw that I saw, and I'm like, that's an NFL caliber arm. That kid is going to get drafted. He may not be a first. I don't know if it'll be first, second.
Yeah, people were getting a little carried away, but yes,
but I saw it. Like there's just certain things where you're like, you know it when you see it, and I'm like, all right, this kid is on the trajectory. Not saying that he will, because he still needs some development, right? Because he's played so little football. But you see it, and that is such a wonderful sign. And if he ever makes it and starts a game on Sunday Night Football, he better say UNT on the player introduction. He won't, but he should.
Yeah, so look, Mestamaker, I think I poo-pooed some of the stuff on him, especially after the record-setting game, because, I mean, I watched this team, like, it's a lot of checkdowns, man, in screens. That being said, you're right. There were some absolutely immaculate throws in that game, and I do think that the opportunity to shine on a bigger stage will probably only continue to elevate that. And like I said, we know where this is going. We'll wait for the official announcement, but we know where this is going with them. We just need him not to dip. That's the other thing. It's like we need the players to really not dip until the season's over. Sure. Eric, I don't know if I give a shit or not. The players, I really need them to hang on. Tulane manhandles Temple. 37-13. Nothing important there other than that. No news on Sumrall yet, but it's still likely that he leaves for a coaching gig. USF beats UAB 48-18. That's not all that happened in Birmingham this weekend. You guys might have heard that UAB Blazer lineman, I believe, stabbed one of his teammates.
I think it was two of his teammates, actually.
Two of his teammates, yeah. That was really not awesome. In other news, USF, they will lose their head coach, Alex Golish.
That was reported and then immediately not.
Alex Golish, not official.
We'll find out this weekend when he makes his decision. He told his team has been approached by multiple schools, but nothing's actually.
I should have known when it was Arkansas. You know, you just never trust Arkansas. Like I said, I see Chip Kelly getting fired in the NFL, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it could be exactly that, but they put on the hard press. So
okay, that's fair. You're right. I never saw. If I don't see a Pete Thamel tweet, I shouldn't believe it.
I just happened to look before we started talking about coaches because I was like, I wonder if anything's happened while we've been recording. So I saw the report that he was gone. Then like 3 hours after that, oh wait.
Yeah, because it was a source that wasn't necessarily bad, so he's probably right. Arkansas probably is one of the teams he's considering. At the same time, if it's not Pete Thamel official, don't believe it.
I just found out North Texas opened up actually, so
JMU beats Wazoo 24-20. That was kind of the game we were all hoping maybe we'll see. They are in their championship game. They'll play either Southern Miss or Troy, who actually play each other for the right to go to that game. At this point, guys, it does feel like an interesting question. The playoff keeps putting the American champion there, but then the AP keeps ranking JMU higher. We'll see what it comes down to, but that's the field for now. Tulane UNT should be playing in the ACC game, or the AAC game. Navy has a shot. They have to beat Memphis to do so. USF, and they would need losses, but yes. USF also still available, and East Carolina actually still technically has a mathematical path. So just letting you know. In the week that's to come, we have Navy at Memphis for Turkey Day. That's the only college football game on Turkey Day. Don't really know why they did it. There is a college football game on Turkey.
Where do they slot that one in?
I believe that's going up against Jason Garrett calling pro football. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what
Jason Garrett is on the
6:30. 6:30. Yeah, Jason Garrett instead of Chris Collinsworth.
For Bengals Ravens.
Yeah, for Bengals Ravens.
Disgusting.
So Friday we will get a great slate. Friday's I'm gonna be working, unfortunately, but I'm gonna have TV on all day.
Same.
Temple UNT, that's gonna fuck me from going to the game, which I did not find enjoyable at all. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, we get the Egg Bowl. Obviously, that's awaiting Lane Kiffin news at the end of it. Georgia Tech, probably going to be a Georgia beatdown, but we'll see. Of course, Texas A&M, Texas in Austin for the first time in quite a while. And then Arizona and Arizona State. That one's sneaky. Don't put that one away. Both of those teams still have, one of them has a chance at the Big 12 championship. The other one actually has a pretty good resume this season as well. Won't make the playoff as a result, but is capable of beating their rival and fucking their season up. Then Saturday, we get the big one. Ohio State, Michigan. Ryan Day, can you finally beat Michigan? If not, you might play yourself out of being in the Big Ten. You'll still be in the playoff. You'll still probably be favored as the best team. And
you might somehow get yourself fired despite winning multiple national titles.
You're going to need to pull off a back-to-back championship if you fuck this one up this weekend, bud. I hate to break it to you.
It is funny. Nick Saban was just like, he's like, I don't know. I would just rather win a national championship than beat Michigan any year. It's like, yeah, that seems logical to everyone except for Ohio State fans.
It's true, but you have to remember, Ohio State fucked Michigan so hard for a decade. Plus, where they were just kicking their fucking teeth in. I think it was like 8 straight. So for Michigan to be actually good enough to be able to do it back to them absolutely has to be under their skin in the most ridiculous ways possible. Then you have Miami Pitt, not a rivalry game, but that one's important to the ACC. UCF, BYU, not a big game. Again, BYU needs to win in their end. Oregon, Washington. Oregon needs to not get upset by Washington and to stay in the playoff because they will not be representing themselves in the Big Ten most likely. LSU, Oklahoma. If you're a Texas Longhorn fan, the only path you have for the playoff at this point is LSU beating Oklahoma, Texas beating Texas A&M. And same goes actually here for Vanderbilt, Tennessee, I would think. Although it's weird, you would almost need Vanderbilt to get fucked a little bit, even though you beat Vanderbilt. Tennessee, Vandy, that will happen. I wouldn't say there's the most implications in the world there, but there is some that does kind of factor into the playoff in a really annoying way. Bama, Auburn, obviously Bama needs to win that. Auburn's in a, bucket situation, so that's kind of the worst situation for Bama to have to play them in. Rice USF is going to be an interesting one, especially since coach's decision has been made or not been made. Tulane has to beat Charlotte. They suck. SMU is at Cal, who just fired their coach. And Notre Dame is at Stanford. That one's important only because, Stanford, if they were able to fuck up Notre Dame, then we're really looking at a 3-loss Notre Dame team. Then all of a sudden, that really helps Texas. That really helps another 3-loss SEC team probably. So, yeah, that's where we're at. AP was kind of whatever. UNC jumped up to 21. AP decided Oregon's more important than Ole Miss and Texas Tech, but the college football playoff still thinks Tech's better than both of them. The Hurricanes are still currently slotted as the 11 seed, but will probably not be the 11th seed unless they win the ACC. But then there's also a chance that they win the ACC and then just not make it in too.
I've got them at 12 here on the college football playoff.
They're 12, but they're the 11th seed.
Okay.
Yeah, in the actual bracket. Yeah, I know.
I don't know why they make me do this.
6-7. That's why, because that's the brain power that's ruling college football.
Well, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. But yeah, at this point, the good news for Mean Green fans, if you're hoping for the best case, is that the American winner goes to the playoff. To be honest, part of me does just want to just kind of hedge my bet and get that bowl game win. Get that Holiday Bowl, get that Armed Forces Bowl. I don't give a shit.
Frisco Bowl, probably.
Frisco Bowl. I just want a fucking bowl, man.
Dude, you want that playoff money for the program.
You're right. The playoff money means more. It's tough because substantially the playoff
you
is
don't
better.
want to see your team get beat by 50 on a national broadcast.
That I can also live with. It's the fact that I'm still looking at my program bowl list. You know what I mean? Like that feels like a whole nother level of lame.
But nowadays, it's just the playoff means you were better. Like bowl is what you hope for if you're not going to make the playoff.
Right, but it's tough. But Eric Morris has put us in expectation levels that we never could have fathomed.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, you never know what's going to happen. One day or 1 year there will be a 12 seed upset if there hasn't been already.
Well,
right?
Currently, we would be heading into Lubbock. At worst, we would be heading into Lubbock, really, actually, if I'm being honest. I mean, maybe Norman, maybe Oxford.
I think they're headed into Lubbock than into Oregon
Yeah, I definitely don't want to go to Autzen. Oregon will fucking run us down. I mean, they're all going to do it, but
travel alone.
Autzen is a hell of a stadium.
How cold do you think that is in January or December?
So yeah, that's one we're looking at. But other than that, was there anything funny that the college football playoff did? I thought that there was some other funny business that they did. They have Arizona State at 20, and the AP doesn't even have Arizona State ranked. That one's funny. SMU is also 21 instead of 25 based on AP.
Is that because Arizona State has a chance at winning the Big 12 still?
Correct. That's because they put way higher priority on the Big Four conferences. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else. Texas, it's 16 in both. That feels fair. Yeah. I mean, ultimately at this point, we just have a week to go. We just have rivalry week, and then this thing is basically just a couple of exciting games every couple of weeks.
Well, I'll be representing. Oh, go ahead.
One last thing, Mean Green related. Shout out Wyatt Young, who set the school record for receiving yards, 295.
Unfortunately, very easy to forget in the midst of all of what's happened for the UNT in one calendar week.
Absolutely, probably. As impressive as 600 yards is, that almost 300-yard receiving is right up there.
Yeah. You get a lot more opportunities to make that happen than the quarterback does. Yeah, I'll be representing us there at least at the game on Friday.
Much appreciated.
Jesus will be there as well,
which will serve as a way to keep me from just getting completely obliterated before the Texas versus Texas A&M game, which I still don't know. I'll probably have to hide in my cave for that one, but
yeah, I mean, I think if I'm
it was 1 year that it's like you're just like not as mad about losing to them as this one. It would
say that's true
if they weren't undefeated, but.
Well, but there's still a lot with Texas that we can get into and speculate. At this point, it's too much regular speculation, so I'm not getting into it too much. I just think that, yes, ultimately, it would behoove the Longhorns to take advantage and carpe the diem. At the same time, you're right. A&M is incredible this season, and Texas has more than enough flaws on the roster as it stands, especially when you're talking about the offensive line compared to their defensive line.
I'd say right now I'd probably take A&M 7 or 8 times out of 10, but Texas still has a good 2 or 3 they could win the game, and they might.
Like I said, the biggest knock on A&M that is fair and very fair, and they have to accept this, they got a very easy shake at the SEC schedule this season.
And yeah, I mean, they can only play who they can play, but
that's true. And this is their first. This is just a great test. You beat the dog shit out of UT in Austin, people will have more respect for you. You lose, that's fine. But you have to go to the SEC game and hold your own. Like you have to, because then if you fuck up these next 2 weeks, then it's 100% battered Aggie syndrome, even if you're a playoff team still. It comes with a playoff bonus, but that's still a lot of battered Aggie syndrome.
Very funny joke in this week's roll call where they're doing Thanksgiving dinner and they're like, "Where's Texas A&M?" And someone's like, "Oh, they're outside eating with their number one rival." And they're like, "But Texas is right here." And it obviously cuts to the Aggie character eating, talking, and then across from him is just a mirror. Just
My own worst enemy. No, trust me. We all will be watching Texas A&M throughout the next month with bated breath and curiosity of what's to come.
They did guarantee they cannot lose 4 games this year, so
They got past that hurdle. You know what they can't ever change?
Pass it back, Ags. Pass it back, Ags. Go beat the hell out of TU. Hump it, Ags. Hump it, Ags.
Eggs.
Y'all go like this. Oh. There we go. Yeah, we'll do the other stuff.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we're in.
1, 2, 3. Beat the hell out of TU. Hey. Woo!
Oh, I almost fell over.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
hate week. This is hate week.
Oh.
Couldn't take the audio out of that one, guys. There's no way.
That was good. That was, oh God. They do it to themselves.
Anything else on the college football side of things this week besides get ready for fun?
No, dude. Oh, yeah, I guess the one final thing. You can look it up. Jeremiah Love, give him the Heisman. 8 carries, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Syracuse is not as bad. They're not good, but they're not that bad either. So, like, he pieced up a competent program, I would call it. So there you go. Quarterbacks are good, but that kid's also really good.
I tried to Google Jeremiah Love, and Google wanted me to look up Jeremiah Love Island, so I'm assuming there's a Love Island personality named Jeremiah.
You know what? There is, actually, and I would know that because of my wife. So I don't remember much about him, but I think there was a negative vibe on that Jeremiah. Anyway.
He's Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame is incredible, and I've enjoyed he's had some of the most fun highlights this year. So hopefully I'd love to see him be able to continue that.
Like, he should be taken top 5 in the draft by somebody who shouldn't be drafting a running back.
And look, I know that we didn't have a quarterback last year, but I still fear that the voters are too quick to lean quarterback when it's a toss-up. I say nay. I say this Love kid has been incredible. This is clearly a Heisman in most seasons. Let's not keep it overcomplicated. Shout out to the other kids who have played great. This kid is the best.
What are my odds on Jacob Rodriguez?
I mean, back-to-back defensive almost feels like the worst odds ever, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically how I'd summarize
Yeah,
it. That's not his
the
fault.
argument being that Travis Hunter wasn't traditionally a defensive player or whatever, but still.
Yeah, I find that very difficult to believe.
Yeah.
And he's been a good player, and he's been a big part of why Texas Tech is a serious threat this season. But I don't know. I don't think they're gonna get that far on him, especially because Ohio State's quarterback has just been so damn pristine throughout this season. Like, he's not the most sexy Heisman, but it's a pretty silent assassin killer number, you know. But he's also got so many weapons that it's just like, I don't know. Either way,
all right.
That is the football as it goes.
Okay, well, we'll take a short break, and in our next video, you'll see us talking about professional American football and Thanksgiving.
Sort of.
And